My child, listen closely, because this moment is not an accident. Right now, at this very breath, you are standing in the exact place, at the exact time where eternity has chosen to meet you. Every ache you've carried, every silent question you've buried, every longing for strength and blessing, it all converges here. These words are not random. They're crafted for you alone, to reach where nothing else has touched, and to reveal what your soul has been searching for all along. You are in exactly the right place at the exact right moment, and I want you to feel that certainty settling into your bones as you read this. Don't rush past these opening breaths. Let them find their way into the hollow places where questions live and where a quiet longing has taken up residence. Here, in the stillness between your hurried thoughts and the next thing pressing for attention, know that someone has been waiting just to say your name and remind you who you are. I am speaking to you as one who sees the whole of your life, not only the highlights you show the world, but the private textures of your days, the small, faithful things you believe no one notices. You have carried a lot. Some of it is loud, the kind of trouble that keeps you up at night and makes the morning feel heavy. Some of it is quiet, the small griefs that are easy to disguise and yet weigh enough to bend your shoulders. I have seen both types of burden, and I have never turned away. Even when you believed that your struggles were too ordinary to matter, I noticed the texture of your days and the rhythm of your heart. Nothing about you is too small to be known, and nothing about you has been overlooked. There is an attention in the universe that delights in every detail of your life. Notice the moments you once thought of as accidents, times when a phone call came at just the right second, an unexpected roadblock that kept you from harm, a sudden calm that steadied your nerves. These are not mere coincidences. They are the subtle evidence of watchful care. When life feels chaotic, remember those gentle interruptions. They are signposts, whispering that you are being guided and guarded, even when you cannot trace the route by sight. Allow these memories to rise like anchors beneath your feet, and let them steady you when the present is uncertain. There is a voice that delights in the sound of your name. It is not the clamor of performance or applause. It is the quiet, constant voice that sees your small, faithful acts and delights in them. You may think your efforts go unnoticed, the meal cooked for a tired friend, the patient listening when someone needed to speak, the decision to try again when discouragement tempted you to stop. These are visible in the eyes that love you more deeply than you often understand. Your life is a pattern of beauty woven out of ordinary choices, and that pattern matters. I want to clear away a lie that has been wearing thin your confidence, that you must earn attention, affection, or favor. That is not how this closeness works. You are not bargaining for worth. You are not on a treadmill of proving and proving again. Your value is not measured by your output or your successes. It is intrinsic. When you rest in that truth, the exhausting race of comparison loses its authority. You are invited to stop striving for belonging and begin to accept it as a settled reality, one that does not fluctuate with every season of productivity or setback. Comparison is a clever thief. It walks into your life under the guise of motivation and leaves carrying your joy. You will always meet someone farther along in a lane you admire, but their path does not diminish the grace prepared for you. Your story has specific contours, the particular wounds you carry, the idiosyncratic gifts you own, the unique timing that shapes your emergence. Keep your eyes on that path. Honor where you are and what you have been through, because the scars are not marks of failure, but the seams of your testimony, the places where resilience is stitched into your character. If you have wondered whether the waiting you have endured means you are forgotten, let me say plainly, waiting is not absence. Waiting is a refining place where patience and faith are trained to grow stronger. There are seasons where preparation happens quietly, away from public view. The roots of who you will become are formed in the unseen days. Give yourself the grace to accept that growth is often slow and imperceptible, until it suddenly shows itself in a harvest you did not force. The tending was taking place even when you could not see it. Do not be ashamed to need help. Asking for direction or support is not weakness, it is wisdom. We were never designed to bear every burden alone. Open your hands to those who offer steady counsel and patient companionship. Let humility be your posture when you receive help, and let discernment guide who you allow into the inner chambers of your heart. Not every hand extended will be for your good. Choose relationships that build, and do not insist on pretending you have it all together. Vulnerability invites restoration. Secrecy breeds stagnation. Remember to celebrate the small victories. A day you did not give in to an old pattern. A phone call you made despite fear. A moment of kindness that cost you more than comfort. These are not trivial. They are the seams of your restoration. Keep a record of them in your memory, for when discouragement whispers that nothing is changing, these tiny wins will prove otherwise. They are proof that movement is happening, even if the horizon does not yet look different. Finally, carry expectancy as a companion. This is not brittle, anxious hope that trembles at the first difficulty. Expectancy is a steady, rooted posture that keeps seeking and listening for the small mercies arriving each day. Train your eyes to notice a kindness, a provision, a clarity that comes like a quiet dawn. These are the ways assurance arrives, not always all at once, but in steady, reliable measures. Let your heart be tuned to receive them. So stay here a moment longer, breathe in, and let the assurance of being known sink deeper. Allow these words to follow you through the day until they become repetitions you return to when doubt creeps in. You are exactly where you need to be. The precise intersection of place and time has not been accidental, and the care that meets you here is intentional, tender, and steadfast. Take these words with you and repeat them often. You are seen. You are cherished. Your life matters in ways you cannot yet measure. Let that truth become the current that carries you forward, steady and sure, no matter what the day brings. My eyes have never turned away from you, not once, not for a breath. Even in the seasons when you felt invisible, when you convinced yourself that no one could possibly care about the shadows you walked through, I was there. Think back on the near misses you can barely explain, the sicknesses that passed over, the sudden impulse to change course that kept you safe, the peace that arrived at the very moment fear could have overwhelmed you. These were not empty accidents. They were signs of a watchful presence, a covering too steady to be coincidence. My hand has rested on you through it all, protecting what you could not even name as danger. I know how often you have felt unguarded, how vulnerable you believed yourself to be, but I want you to see the evidence the times harm was kept from your doorstep. The countless nights where unseen protection surrounded you like a shield. You have lived through storms, disappointments, betrayals, and losses that could have undone you. And yet here you are, still breathing, still capable of hope, still standing. That survival is not the result of luck. It is proof that I have never once left you uncovered. Look closer at your own story. The places where you believed only failure or despair would remain are the very places I planted seeds of resilience. You may not have noticed the growth at first. It was small, hidden, buried deep where no one could see. But each time you pressed forward, each time you refused to let despair decide your end, those seeds were breaking through the soil. You are stronger than you know, not because you have mastered every battle, but because you have been held when you thought you could not stand. Think of the nights when tears soaked your pillow and you wondered if anyone could possibly understand. I was there, nearer than your breath, counting every tear not as weakness, but as testimony of how deeply you loved, how deeply you longed for better. Nothing in you has ever been wasted. Not the cries, not the questions, not the mistakes. All of it has been woven into a tapestry of protection and promise. I want you to understand that my protection is not always about preventing pain. Sometimes it is about preserving your spirit when pain comes, so that you are not destroyed by it. There have been wounds, yes, but notice how they did not consume you. Notice how, even in grief, there was a flicker of strength you could not explain. That was me. I carried you when your own steps failed. I steadied you when your own courage fell silent. You may have called it instinct or luck, but it was me, the quiet guardian, the unseen shelter. You may ask, why didn't you stop every heartbreak? Why didn't you block every loss? My child, understand. To live in this world is to experience both beauty and brokenness. My protection does not erase human freedom or shield you from every tear, but it does guarantee that nothing endured will be wasted. Even what tried to break you has been bent into shape for your good. Even what scarred you has been reshaped into wisdom, empathy, and the capacity to love with depth. The dangers you feared did not define your end. They became proof of my hand that still holds you now. I have walked every step with you. Silent sidewalks where loneliness pressed close, crowded rooms where you felt unseen, and quiet mornings when hope seemed too far to reach. At each turn I whispered through the circumstances themselves. A stranger's kindness, a song on the radio, a phrase you stumbled across at just the right time. These were not coincidences. They were reminders that you are not alone, that you are covered even when you cannot see the covering. I want you to pause now and remember. Let memory rise. Recall the night when fear pressed against your chest and suddenly a calm settled over you. Recall the conversation that arrived out of nowhere and carried exactly the encouragement you needed. Recall the season when everything should have collapsed, and yet somehow, impossibly, you came through. This remembering is important because it anchors you in truth. The same presence that preserved you then is with you now. The world will try to tell you that you are unprotected. The danger is always near, that you are vulnerable to every blow. But hear me, my covering is real. It is not fragile. It is already held against storms you thought would consume you. It will continue to hold. Even in the battles ahead, you will find me closer than the threat. You will find my strength stronger than the voice of fear. Do not measure my protection only by what was kept from you. Measure it also by what you were given to endure. The strength to keep going, the courage to begin again, the resilience to believe that life could still hold beauty. That is protection too. Not just shielding from harm, but building within you a heart that cannot be shattered beyond repair. And know this, nothing has escaped my notice. Not one moment of terror, not one drop of sorrow, not one sigh of weariness. I have been attentive to it all. My gaze is steady, unwavering, locked on you with a love that refuses to waver. You are not just another face in the crowd. You are a beloved child, whose life has been watched over with detail and devotion since the very beginning. So, when you step forward, step knowing you are not stepping into uncertainty alone. The same presence that guarded your past walks beside you into tomorrow. The same hand that shielded you when you did not even know to ask will shield you still. Let your heart settle into this truth. You are not defenseless. You are not abandoned to chance. You are covered always by a love that refuses to let go. Let this assurance become your anchor. When you wake tomorrow and worry rushes in, remind yourself, I am seen. I am protected. I am not alone. Speak it aloud if you must. Let it echo louder than fear. And then take your next step with courage, for the path you walk is guarded, and you are safe beneath the watchful eyes that never leave you. You are not a copy of anyone else's story. Your journey is not meant to be a shadow of another's achievements, nor are you called to mimic the shape of their success. Every beat of your heart carries a rhythm that belongs to you alone. From the moment you first drew breath, there has been a distinct intention woven into your being, a thread that does not duplicate another's pattern. When you forget this, when you are tempted to measure yourself against the paths of those around you, you rob yourself of the freedom to walk in the grace that was designed specifically for you. Do not underestimate the danger of comparison. It creeps in quietly, disguising itself as inspiration, but it steals your joy and drains your peace. You scroll through glimpses of other lives, curated images of progress, polished announcements of triumph, and suddenly you feel behind, as if your own story has lost its worth because it doesn't look the same. But hear this clearly. Their victories are not your failures. Their blessings are not meant to diminish your own. I open doors in due season, and the doors I open for you are carved with your name alone. No one else can step through them. The inheritance I have for you is not borrowed. It is not second-hand. It does not come parceled out from another's abundance. It is yours, crafted with the same uniqueness as your fingerprints. You do not need to chase after what was never meant to sustain you. When I provide, it is not to tease or to stir envy, but to establish you in the ground prepared for your flourishing. You were never meant to live off of comparisons. You were meant to thrive in the soil of your own calling. Consider your gifts, even the ones you have dismissed as too ordinary. They are not accidental. They are not trivial. They are threads of purpose planted in you with care. Do not belittle them just because they don't glitter the way the world celebrates. Your patience, your quiet strength, your ability to listen deeply, your persistence to keep going when others quit, these are treasures. They may not attract applause, but they are precisely the qualities that carry weight in the story I am writing through you. You were not created for shallow recognition or fleeting applause. Fame is brittle. Applause fades. Titles dissolve into dust. For the work I am cultivating in you is eternal, and the worth I assign is unshakable. I want you to stop exhausting yourself trying to prove your value by the yardstick of others. You are already enough. Your story is already worth telling, not because it looks impressive to the crowd, but because it carries the fingerprints of love and intention on every page. When blessings flow into your life, and they will, they are not given as trophies for display. They are given to nourish, to build, to strengthen you quietly and securely. Some blessings are meant to be savored in secret, sheltered from the eyes that would misinterpret or twist them. Guard them. Hold them with gratitude. Let them deepen your trust rather than inflate your pride. I know the risks that come with outward boasting, and I want to protect you from wounds that pride often invites. Gratitude, not performance, is the safe harbor for your blessings. And yet, even with these assurances, you may still feel the tug of envy when you see what others have. That tug does not make you weak. It makes you human. But you have a choice in that moment. Will you let envy plant roots, or will you remind yourself that your portion is secure, that no one can steal the promises prepared for you? Every time you choose trust over comparison, you water the soil of your inheritance and prepare it for harvest. Your worth is not in possessions, not in roles, not in recognition. It is in being mine, beloved, chosen, cherished. You are a living promise, a testimony in motion. Even now, your story is unfolding with purpose. You are not a mistake, not an afterthought. Every detail of your identity has meaning. Your voice, your temperament, your quirks, your passions. All of it matters. All of it is intentional. When the world urges you to keep striving, to accumulate, to hustle for recognition, pause. Ask yourself, what is the cost of this pursuit? Does it bring peace, or does it leave you more restless? Does it make you feel secure, or does it stir anxiety? You were not made for a life of endless proving. You were made for a life of rootedness, a life where love anchors your identity rather than comparison. So embrace your uniqueness. Celebrate your distinct path, even if it seems slower than others, even if the milestones are quieter. Know that the beauty of your journey is not measured by the noise it creates, but by the fruit it bears. Faithfulness, compassion, resilience, creativity. These are the fruits I long to cultivate in you, and they are more precious than applause, more enduring than fleeting recognition. Your story is unfolding exactly as it should. Not one chapter has been wasted. Not one detour has stolen your purpose. Every page belongs. So stand in the confidence of your identity. Speak gently to yourself when comparison rises. Whisper truth into your own heart. I am not a copy. I am not behind. I am exactly where I am meant to be, and the blessings prepared for me are mine alone. Let this truth anchor you when the world clamors for your attention. When you are tempted to measure your life against another's highlight reel, pause And remember, your inheritance cannot be stolen. Your blessings are distinct. Your story is enough. Walk boldly in it, with gratitude as your compass and peace as your portion. Wisdom is often found in the waiting, though I know you resist it. You long for answers now, for resolution to every question, for the map that shows each step from here to where you dream of being. But the map is not given all at once. It is drawn line by line, revealed in seasons, unfolded through trust. Waiting is not punishment. It is preparation. I am shaping you for what is to come, and that shaping takes time. Consider how roots grow underground before a tree rises tall. No one celebrates the roots. They are unseen, unnoticed, unphotographed. Yet without them, the tree cannot stand, cannot endure storm or drought. Your seasons of waiting are root seasons. Beneath the surface, strength is forming. Depth is being built. What looks like stillness is not inactivity. It is growth happening in places the eye cannot see. I see how easily you grow restless. You want to move forward, to prove progress, to silence the fear that you are falling behind. But wisdom cannot be rushed. It is cultivated in the pause, in the space between what you asked for and when it arrives. Each moment you choose trust over panic. Each day you turn toward me instead of grasping for control. Wisdom is settling deeper into your spirit. You may feel as if others are racing ahead, achieving what you hoped for, stepping into chapters you thought would belong to you by now. This comparison is a thief of peace. Their timing is theirs, not yours. The unfolding of your story does not follow their schedule, and it never will. You cannot measure your purpose by their milestones. The doors I open for you will swing wide in due season, and no one else can claim them. When my answer is to wait, it is not silence without meaning. It is an invitation to lean closer. Sometimes I withhold the immediate solution not to frustrate you but to teach you dependence. If every question were answered instantly, you would lose the intimacy of listening for my voice. Waiting tunes your ears to my whispers. It strengthens the muscles of patience that you will need later when the blessings come and new challenges rise with them. Other times, my answer is to act. I nudge you toward courage, to take the step you fear, to risk the possibility of failure. You will not always feel ready, but obedience is not about feeling fully prepared. It is about trusting that I will meet you in the motion. When I say go, I do not send you out alone. My presence walks with you, steadying your steps even as your knees tremble. And still, there are moments when my answer is redirection. You set your heart on one path, believing it must be the way, and I close the door. In the moment, it feels like loss, like rejection. But later, you see how the closed door saved you from harm or prepared you for something better. Learn to trust the redirections. They are not the end of your story, they are the reshaping of it. Do not despise the process. The in-between is where resilience grows. The waiting teaches you to pray not just occasionally, but with persistence. The listening sharpens your discernment, so you recognize my voice among the noise. The pauses train you to surrender control, to lay down the endless striving and rest in the assurance that I am guiding even when you cannot see. Wisdom is not found in rushing, it is found in returning to me in prayer, in scripture, in the quiet moments when you choose trust over anxiety. Let these returns become your rhythm, day by day, moment by moment. Bring your choices, your confusions, your hopes into my presence. Ask, seek, knock, not once, not occasionally, but consistently. Your persistence matters. It reveals your trust that I hear, that I care, that I will answer. Prosperity is not simply the accumulation of blessings. It is the deep satisfaction of knowing that you are walking in alignment with me. It is peace that endures through uncertainty, joy that does not collapse when circumstances shift. True prosperity cannot be stolen because it is rooted in relationship, not possessions. If you learn this now, you will carry a richness that no loss can destroy. So, when the waiting stretches longer than you hoped, resist despair. When the answers come in forms you did not expect, Resist disappointment. Trust that my timing is not careless. It is deliberate, precise, rooted in love. Every pause has purpose. Every delay has meaning. Every redirection carries protection. Let patience become your teacher. Let trust become your anchor. Let wisdom become your guide. And in all of it, remember, I am near. You are not walking this process alone. My presence surrounds you in the waiting, in the acting, in the redirection. Hold fast to me, and you will find that the journey is shaping you into someone ready to carry the blessings I have prepared. You do not need to rush. You do not need to panic. You only need to keep walking with me, one step, one prayer, one moment of trust at a time. That is enough, and it is more than enough to bring you into the future I have written with care. There is a place where I meet your brokenness and do not flinch. When shame presses heavy on your chest and you think that your mistakes have written the final chapter, come closer here. You are not condemned. You are called out of the residue of failure into a wide, renewing mercy. The story of restoration begins with the simple truth that your past does not define your finish. I am not keeping score. I am offering a healing hand that reaches for what is damaged and makes it whole again. Bring the pieces. Every regret, every misstep, every decision you wish you could change, and lay them down. Do not hold them like trophies of regret, letting them weigh down your forward steps. Forgiveness is not a difficult-to-reach reward. It is a present reality offered to you now. Let it flow through you like a river, cleansing the places that have collected grime and hard judgments. When you accept this mercy, you unburden yourself from the heavy cloak of self-condemnation and begin to breathe in a freedom that feels new. Healing is not always dramatic. Sometimes it is a slow unpeeling of hurt, quiet and steady, accomplished one small moment at a time. Be patient with the process. Expect gentle mending rather than instant erasure. The wounds that shaped you may remain visible for a season, but their sting will dull. In those softened places, new life emerges, compassion for others, empathy born from pain, a tenderness that would not exist without the trials you endured. Your scars become signposts of survival and evidence that the broken pieces have been retooled for greater use. You are invited into restoration, not to hide your past, but to transform it into testimony. Each time you choose to bring a broken piece into the light, you allow it to be reworked into something beautiful. The cost of confession is not more guilt, it is the beginning of repair. Speak honestly about what stings. Tell the truth to someone you trust and let the burden lift. Shame thrives in secrecy. Healing begins in the light of honesty and safe companionship. Forgiving yourself can be harder than forgiving others, but it is necessary. You may replay old scenes, imagining better choices, flattening your present with if only and what if. Those loops are exhaustion that keeps you stuck. Choose instead to remember that growth is the fruit of learning, not punishment. You are allowed to be both repentant and hopeful, to acknowledge wrongs and still move forward with expectation. Let grace be the frame through which you view your life. Restoration also includes repair in relationships. Where fractures exist, take careful, humble steps toward mending. This does not mean allowing yourself into harmful situations or ignoring abuse. Discernment matters. But where reconciliation is safe and possible, begin with truth and humility. Apologize when you have wronged. Receive apology when it is offered. Allow forgiveness to work both ways, and let restoration reshape the landscape of your community. Mending broken ties is slow work. It requires patience, consistent humility, and practical changes that prove the apology was real. There will be seasons of grief that need patient tending. Do not rush them. Grief is a teacher that opens up space for tenderness and wisdom. Let yourself mourn what was lost. Name it. Sit with it. Bring it into conversation with the one who knows the depth of every ache and with those who will kneel beside you rather than judge. The act of naming gives grief a container, and in that container, healing starts to breathe. You do not need to hurry past sorrow to prove strength. Strength often looks like showing up to the slow work of restoration. Do not be surprised if restoration looks different than you imagined. Sometimes it is quiet peace where you once expected fireworks. Sometimes it is a new rhythm of life that replaces old patterns with steadier habits. Allow yourself to be surprised by the gentleness of change. Expect the unexpected forms of renewal. A friendship that regrows with new maturity. A job that opens with wiser boundaries. A dream that adjusts and becomes deeper in meaning. These softer gifts are not lesser. They are the durable fruit of true repair. Let repentance be practical. It is more than remorse. It is a turning. Make amends where possible. Adjust your course when you recognize destructive patterns. Forgiveness liberates you to make different choices. Restoration is not a passive waiting for things to get better. It is an active participation in the repair of your own life and the lives you touch. Take small, consistent steps toward what you want to see healed. Daily choices that show you mean the change you claim to want. Remember that you are not alone in this work. I enter the places of brokenness with you, holding and tending as you move forward. There is a patient strength available to steady you when courage falters. Move with eyes open to grace, and let that grace guide your decisions. When you falter, return quickly. Do not bury mistakes in avoidance. The faster you bring them into the light, the faster the healing begins. Restoration accelerates when confession and correction meet compassion. There is freedom waiting beyond the weight you now carry. Imagine waking to mornings where regret no longer anchors you, where you can make choices without the tremor of old shame. That future is possible. The path there is not always straight, but it is sure if you keep walking toward honesty, toward humility, and toward service. The healed life is not one without scars. It is one where scars tell of survival and hope rather than defeat. So begin today with a single step. Name a wound you will bring into the light. Tell one trusted person or speak the confession out loud to the one who already knows. Allow the action of naming to start the healing. Forgive yourself as you have been forgiven. Receive the restoring mercy that is offered, and then move forward into a life marked less by what has been taken from you and more by what has been made new. Hold these truths close. Nothing is wasted. Mercy meets you now, and restoration is a real, available path. Even if your past has looked like ruin, there is creative power at work to rebuild a new and beautiful life from the very stones of former defeat. Trust this process. You are being remade, and the new story is already beginning beneath the surface, gathering energy for its coming reveal. Not everyone who reaches for you brings peace. Not every smile is rooted in goodwill, and not every open hand means safety. Discernment is your safeguard here. I want you to grow wise, not suspicious, attentive without becoming hardened, clear without becoming cynical. Relationships shape so much of your journey. They can steady your steps or lead them astray. That is why I speak to you about guarding your heart with vigilance, not from a place of fear, but from a place of love and protection. Consider how many voices compete for your attention. Some are loud, shouting advice without knowing your whole story. Others are subtle, whispering in tones that sound comforting, yet carry motives that would harm you in the long run. If you are not listening closely to the quiet rhythm of my spirit within you, those voices can confuse your direction. Discernment is what allows you to separate wisdom from noise, truth from manipulation, genuine love from counterfeit affection. The Holy Spirit within you is not harsh. It is gentle like a dove, guiding softly, nudging you toward peace when your own emotions are loud. Learn to listen for this quiet presence. It may not sound like thunder. More often, it is the sudden calm you feel when something aligns with truth, or the unease that rises when a path is not right. Do not ignore those stirrings. They are not random feelings. They are signposts. Relationships will test you. Some will bring life and others will drain it. Pay attention to the fruit. Do you leave an encounter feeling strengthened, hopeful, seen? Or do you walk away feeling diminished, heavy, uncertain of your worth? The pattern reveals the root. When you see relationships that consistently strip you of peace, take heed. It is not unloving to set boundaries. It is wise. Guarding your spirit does not mean shutting out love. It means protecting the ground where true love can grow. There are people who will walk with you for a season and then leave. Their departure does not mean you are unworthy. Sometimes it is pruning, removing what would limit your growth even if it stings. Do not cling desperately to what I am asking you to release. Trust that new relationships will form, ones that carry grace, truth, and encouragement for the path ahead. Some friendships and bonds are meant to be lifelong. Others are meant to teach for a time. Wisdom is knowing the difference. Do not confuse discernment with judgment. To discern is to see clearly, to weigh motives and outcomes with honesty, while still keeping your heart tender. Judgment hardens. Discernment clarifies. Let your posture remain compassionate, but let your eyes be sharp. Love does not require you to be naive. You can forgive and still create distance. You can be kind and still refuse access to someone who repeatedly wounds you. That balance is not betrayal. It is obedience to wisdom. Be careful, too, with whom you share the deepest parts of your soul. Not every ear is safe for your dreams. Some will nurture what you reveal. Others will distort it or use it against you. Choose carefully the ones who hold your confidences. A trusted circle is a sacred gift, and it should be small enough that each voice matters. Do not scatter your pearls to anyone willing to listen. Let discernment guide what you reveal and to whom. Remember also that relationships require reciprocity. You are not called to carry everyone endlessly, nor to be carried without offering anything yourself. Healthy bonds are built on mutual care, giving and receiving, speaking and listening, encouraging and being encouraged. If you find yourself endlessly pouring without replenishment, pause. That imbalance is not sustainable. I did not design you to be drained dry in the name of loyalty. True companionship replenishes as it supports. When you seek companionship or even romantic love, do not rush. Desire is not wrong, but it needs direction. Trust that I care deeply about your heart, your hopes, your longing to be known. Let me orchestrate the details of timing and connection. Do not settle for the hollow comfort of relationships that cost your peace. Better to wait in patience than to bind yourself to what wounds. Value yourself as I value you. Choose partners and friends who echo the truth of your worth, not those who diminish it. Discernment also matters in counsel. Many will offer advice, some wise and some misguided. Weigh every word against the peace that my spirit gives you. Wisdom often sounds like calm clarity, not frantic urgency. Listen for the advice that steadies rather than confuses. Trust that I will highlight the voices you need most, the mentors, the companions, the teachers who will strengthen rather than weaken you. Do not be afraid to walk away from toxic connections. Your calling is too precious to be suffocated by unhealthy ties. This does not mean living without compassion, but it does mean choosing wisely where to invest your time and trust. Walking in discernment may feel lonely at times, but that loneliness is often the clearing of ground for healthier, deeper connections to grow. So guard your heart. Let the Spirit's quiet guidance be your compass. Open yourself to those who nourish your soul, who challenge you in love, who celebrate your growth without envy. Close your heart gently but firmly to those who continually diminish your peace. This is not selfishness. It is stewardship of the treasure I have placed within you. Walk forward with courage, knowing that I am shaping your relationships as carefully as I shape your path. Trust the nudges, honor the boundaries, and keep your spirit tuned to the gentle dove that whispers truth. With discernment, you will not only be protected, you will also find companionship that strengthens your purpose and amplifies your joy. Strength has not always looked the way you expected it to. You thought strength meant being unbreakable, always confident, never wavering. But your greatest victories came not from appearing invincible, but from choosing to keep moving when you felt weak. Strength has been the whisper that said, "Try again," after failure. It has been the quiet decision to hope when despair seemed easier. It has been the courage to stand when your knees trembled. That strength is not your own alone. It is the gift of my presence sustaining you. I want you to see yourself through that lens. Stop dismissing the victories that happened in silence. Think back to the nights you lay awake, fighting thoughts that told you to give up. You survived them. Think of the mornings you rose even when grief pressed you down. You showed up. Those moments were not small. They were battles won. Each time you endured, each time you carried on, you were proving the resilience I placed within you. The journey ahead will not always be smooth. Storms will rise. Challenges will test your resolve, and doubts will whisper loudly. But you do not face these alone. I go before you, clearing the path even when you cannot see it. I walk beside you, steadying your steps when they falter. I guard you from behind, ensuring that nothing overtakes you unnoticed. My presence is the constant companion that transforms every challenge into a place of growth. Courage will not always feel like fire in your chest. Sometimes it will feel like taking one small step when fear tells you to freeze. Sometimes it will feel like saying no when compromise seems easier. Sometimes it will look like vulnerability, admitting weakness, asking for help, trusting others with the truth of your heart. Courage is not loud, it is steady, and you have more of it than you realize. Do not measure strength by outward bravado. Measure it by faithfulness. Each time you choose integrity over convenience, you are strong. Each time you choose kindness when anger tempts you, you are strong. Each time you choose patience in the face of delay, you are strong. Strength is not the absence of weakness. It is the willingness to lean on me when weakness comes. I know you fear falling behind, that your progress feels slow compared to others. But I am not rushing you. Growth is not a race. Your journey has its own pace, and it is the right one for you. Strength is not found in racing ahead. It is found in endurance, in the steady pressing forward when it would be easier to quit. Endurance produces depth, and depth prepares you to carry blessings without being crushed by them. When you stumble, and you will, do not confuse stumbling with failure. Falling does not mean the journey ends. Each time you rise again, you prove the resilience of your spirit. Remember, I am not disappointed when you falter. I am near, lifting, steadying, restoring. Strength grows in the rising, not in the absence of falling. Let your stumbles teach you humility, compassion, and perseverance. These are the qualities that make you unshakable. Learn to draw strength not only from victories but also from the process itself. Even in your waiting, you are being fortified. Even in uncertainty, you are being prepared. The muscles of faith are stretched in the tension between what you see and what you hope for. This stretching is uncomfortable, but it is necessary. Trust that the discomfort is shaping you for greater resilience. I have given you gifts not just for survival, but for impact. Your compassion, your creativity, your courage, they are not accidents. They are tools. Use them. Do not hide them out of fear of criticism. Do not bury them because they seem small. Small acts, done consistently, shape futures. A kind word, a steady presence, a faithful task completed with care, these are seeds of strength that grow into legacies. Remember also to rest. Strength is not constant exertion. Even warriors lay down their swords to sleep. Rest does not mean weakness. It means renewal. When you rest in me, you are refilling the wells from which you will pour tomorrow. Do not despise your need for quiet. It is in the stillness that I replenish you. Whisper courage back into your weary spirit, and remind you that strength is sustained by grace, not by striving. You may doubt yourself. Wonder if you have what it takes for what lies ahead. Hear me clearly. You do. Not because you are flawless, but because I am with you. My strength is perfected in your weakness. Each time you feel you cannot continue, lean on me, and you will find endurance that surprises you. Each time fear threatens to paralyze you, call on me, and you will discover courage rising. You are never left to fight alone. So step forward with steady resolve. Do not demand of yourself the appearance of perfect bravery. Simply bring your honesty, your willingness, your fragile faith, and let me infuse it with power. The battles you fear will not defeat you. They are opportunities for you to discover how strong you already are when you walk with me. Carry this truth with you. Strength is not about never breaking. It is about always mending. Courage is not about never fearing. It is about moving forward despite fear. Endurance is not about never growing tired. It is about resting in me and rising again. You have everything you need, because I am everything you need. Walk in that assurance and you will find yourself equipped for every step of the journey ahead. Your life is not a series of empty routines. Even the ordinary moments carry a thread of meaning, though you often rush past them. Pause and notice the laughter of a friend, the relief of a timely answer, the quiet of early morning, the unexpected kindness from a stranger. These are not background noise. They are gifts. They are my presence woven into your daily rhythm, subtle reminders that you are never without care. I know how quickly your mind turns toward what is missing. You measure progress against goals unmet. You compare what you have with what others display. You let worries about tomorrow steal today's peace. But there is provision around you even now. Look again. The roof that shields you, the breath that fills you, the opportunities that arrive just when you think the way is closed. These are mercies. Do not take them lightly. Gratitude transforms them from ordinary details into visible miracles. Cultivate the habit of noticing. Write down one mercy each day, no matter how small. It could be the strength to finish a task, the encouragement of a kind word, or the sudden calm that steadied your anxious thoughts. These moments are evidence that I am close. And when discouragement whispers that nothing is changing, your record of gratitude will testify otherwise. It will remind you that daily hope is never absent, only sometimes overlooked. Hope is not fragile optimism. It is the stubborn belief that goodness is at work even when the evidence is thin. Hope endures delays. Hope survives disappointments. Hope persists through silence. Let hope become the lens through which you see your circumstances. Even when prayers feel unanswered, hope declares that answers are still forming. Even when you feel surrounded by lack, hope trusts that provision is on its way. Do not confuse satisfaction with stagnation. You are allowed to desire more while still being grateful for what is already in your hands. Gratitude does not cancel longing. It grounds it. Learn to live in the tension of both, thankful for today, expectant for tomorrow. When you practice this balance, anxiety loses its grip, and peace becomes your steady companion. Your home, your work, your friendships, these are sacred spaces for my presence to shine. You do not need to chase after extraordinary stages to make a difference. Every place you set foot becomes an opportunity to radiate grace. A gentle word to a coworker, a patient response in traffic, a thoughtful act at home. These are not small. They ripple outward in ways you cannot measure, turning ordinary ground into sacred soil. Remember, the provision is not only material. Yes, I provide resources and opportunities, but I also provide endurance, peace, and wisdom. Do not overlook these as blessings. The sudden clarity in a moment of confusion, the courage that rises unexpectedly, the calm that steadies you when fear closes in. These are provisions as real as food or shelter. Welcome them, honor them. Let them remind you that you are not left to fend for yourself. Guard yourself against the pull of constant striving. The world will tell you that your worth is measured by how much you accumulate or accomplish. But my measure is different. I delight in your faithfulness, in your kindness, in your willingness to keep showing up with an open heart. Success in my eyes is not the applause you receive, but the love you give. It is the quiet strength you show when no one else is watching. When anxiety about the future begins to swirl, ground yourself in the present. Breathe deeply. Remind yourself, I am provided for today. You do not need to solve tomorrow before it arrives. Provision is not stockpiled in advance, it is released daily. Trust that each morning will carry its own mercies. Just as you have been sustained until now, you will continue to be sustained. Relationships, too, are part of this daily hope. Cherish the ones who stand with you. Do not take their loyalty for granted. Speak gratitude aloud. Let them know they matter. And for those relationships still mending, hold them with patience. Healing often comes quietly, not in dramatic reconciliations, but in small, consistent acts of kindness. Believe that restoration is possible, even if it takes time. And when loneliness whispers that you are forgotten, push back with truth. You are not abandoned. I am with you. Even in your solitude, my presence is tangible. Look around and notice the signs. The gentle sunrise painted across your sky, the words of encouragement that arrive unexpectedly, the resilience you discover in yourself when you thought you had none left. These are my fingerprints. They are proof that you are never unseen. Peace is not the absence of problems. It is the assurance of companionship in the midst of them. You are not called to live a frantic, unsettled life. You are called to live rooted, steady, anchored in my nearness. When the storms rise, let peace be your anchor. When doubts shout, let peace be your guard. When the day feels ordinary, let peace remind you that the ordinary is sacred ground. So open your eyes to the daily mercies. Receive them with gratitude. Let them strengthen your hope and settle your heart. Trust that provision is not random, but deliberate, shaped for your needs, released at the right time. You are not forgotten. You are not overlooked. You are surrounded by love and sustained by grace, one ordinary day at a time. Beloved one, this is not the end of the story. It is a commissioning. Everything you have heard until now has been building toward this moment, an invitation to rise with courage, to walk forward with trust, to embrace the calling that has been written into your very being. You were not created for hesitation or endless doubt. You were created to live fully, to step into your days with a confidence rooted not in your own perfection, but in the unshakable love that surrounds you. Let the weight you've been carrying fall away. The burdens of comparison, regret, fear, and striving are not yours to hold. Release them. You are not meant to walk hunched beneath expectations that crush your spirit. You are meant to stand tall, free, cherished. My love has already settled your worth. My presence has already guaranteed your belonging. Nothing you do can increase it, and nothing you fail to do can diminish it. You are secure. The path ahead is not without challenges. Storms will come, doubts will whisper, opposition may rise, but you will not face them alone. I am your constant companion, your guide, your protector. Where you feel weak, I will be your strength. Where you feel uncertain, I will be your light. Where you feel lost, I will be your compass. Every step you take will be steadied by my hand, whether you sense it or not. Do not despise small beginnings. Your impact may not announce itself with fanfare, but every act of faithfulness matters. The quiet kindness offered to a stranger, the encouragement spoken to a weary friend, the steady perseverance in your work, all of it ripples outward, touching lives you may never see. Trust that no effort of love is wasted. You are shaping the world simply by being faithful to your calling. Greatness is not measured by fame, but by service. Do not chase applause. Do not measure your worth by how loudly others recognize it. Instead, measure your day by love given, by peace nurtured, by hope shared. These are treasures that do not fade. When you live this way, you step into a rhythm that aligns with eternity, a life that radiates meaning far beyond what the world can measure. Your calling is not for tomorrow. It begins today. Rise each morning with expectancy, not dread. Approach your hours as sacred, not mundane. Every moment carries the possibility of grace. Every task can be infused with love. Let this awareness transform the way you live. Your home can become a sanctuary, your workplace a place of light, your conversations a source of healing, You are not just moving through days, you are carrying purpose into them. Remember, too, that mistakes will still come. You will falter. You will forget. You will grow weary. None of this disqualifies you. My mercy renews each morning, ready to restore and realign. When you stumble, do not hide in shame. Return quickly, and you will find arms open, ready to lift you again. Your story is not ruined by failure, it is refined by grace. The future that awaits you is marked by goodness, not dread. It may not unfold in the shapes you imagine, but it will be rich in mercy, filled with provision, and anchored in love. You do not need to control every detail. You only need to walk in trust, step by step, knowing that I am weaving all things together for your good. Even the detours and delays will serve a purpose you will one day see clearly. Take courage, beloved. Do not shrink back. Do not live small out of fear of failure or rejection. Lift your head. You are chosen, equipped, sustained. Your story matters, and your life carries weight. Trust that the light you shine, even if it feels small, will break into darkness in ways you cannot measure. So now, go forward. Carry peace as your anchor, love as your compass, and hope as your fuel. Trust that you are never walking alone. With each breath, with each step, I am with you. My love does not falter. My promises do not fail. My presence does not withdraw. This is the truth that steadies you now and always. You are not forgotten. You are not forsaken. You are beloved. You are chosen. You are sent. Step into your days with this knowledge and let it shape everything you do. Walk boldly into the story that has been waiting for you, and know, beyond all doubt, that you are held in a love that will never let you go.